health trends, and advocating for you, especially when you notice a change. They're people you can trust from a trusted healthcare leader. Memorial Care, real connections. Learn more at memorial.health/primary care.
Make this school year their strongest yet. Book your child's back to school or sports physical today at SIU Center for Family Medicine in Lincoln. Keep them healthy, focused, and ready for success. Find out more by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hi, I'm Brett with Central Cremation Center. We're proudly offering pet cremation services to help keep your faithful companion close to you. Learn more about our pet services by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
News time, 9 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Tuesday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast. A DeWitt County resident has gone through the process of seeking a special use permit to operate a kennel in rural DeWitt County. At last Thursday's DeWitt County board meeting, the board approved a special use permit that has garnered a lot of attention on social media, but the board chair says it cannot be considered for the determination of the application. Ashley Miller's application for the kennel was approved last Thursday night after recommendations for approval from the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Regional Planning Commission. Board Chair Joe Whitty told the board it was tabled last month to get a copy of the transcripts to board members.
And the next item, we had a motion last month. We tabled it. And we had a motion by Tilly, second by Myers. Is that still standing for this month? Or do we need to get a new motion?
No, if you tabled it, it's on the agenda. You can bring it back out.
Okay. So we had the motion already by Ms. Tilly and second last month by Ms. Myers. And we tabled it. We want to get the transcripts. Those were sent out and hopefully everyone's had a chance to review.
Whitty put a stipulation into the application for the operator to receive appropriate licenses through the Illinois Department of Agriculture.
One thing I wanted to note, I know there was some discussion in the hearing on the desire to possibly run an animal rescue out of the facility. And I want to be clear that our ordinance, it does say that a special use permit shall be deemed to authorize only one particular use, in which case we applied for a kennel. And breeding could fall under that, but I want to be clear that an animal rescue does not fall under a kennel. So if you had plans to expand that, you could take additional SUP or go through the proper process to do that. One other, I know there was some discussion on compliance with one, that this has already been an operational kennel and that the Department of Agriculture, there's some licensing required in there. So I would like to propose a condition to attach to the case that we have before us. I did send that out so you had the language in there. I can explain it, but I would propose the condition that the applicant shall obtain a kennel license with the Illinois Department of Agriculture within 1 year of being granted the special use application and shall maintain the license as long as the kennel is operational. Failure to obtain and maintain the license and operate the kennel in accordance with the Animal Welfare Act 2025 Illinois ILCS 605 and its rules may result in a special use permit being canceled by action of the county board upon recommendation of the planning commission.
Miller, who attended the county board meeting Thursday, told the board she could not get approval from the Department of Agriculture. Christina Deerwester explained the county, city of Clinton, and state of Illinois rules on the issue of breeding.
Actually, I have a statement. I spoke to the Department of Ag, and I do not qualify for a license because I spay and neuter my cats, and I'm below the hobby amount for breeding females, so they will not let me get one unless I exceed that amount. So I'd have to have more than 6 females to have that license. And that came from my inspector that came out in the summer. I cleared the inspection. The case was closed out. There is no issue with me that I am currently aware of. In reality, anybody in county that has more than 4 animals has to have a kennel license. I am not the only individual that is not in conformity. There are even individuals that were in zoning that told me they didn't know that there was a requirement for that. So in order to obtain a state license, I would have to have more cats that are intact in order to do that. You see what I'm saying? So I can't get it. They will not issue me one because I don't have enough cats to meet that requirement.
Miller says she is being targeted by authorities and those in the community who oppose her efforts. She believes the zoning is very unclear for what she's looking to do.
This is where the confliction is, because I have lived in county for, and I'm not trying to like say anybody's wrong, but that's the issue. The zoning stuff doesn't match. And I'm being targeted, and I'm sorry, but I am. I have been targeted since I moved home, okay, by people in this county. But for 10 years, I have been harassed and targeted in DeWitt County. I have had people threaten me. I've had people hurt me. I've had people do very nasty things. My thing is, the county law says, from what the sheriff told me, that if you have more than 4 in county, and I'm just going by what Sheriff Walker said because he came to my house last summer, that you are in violation of the ordinance because they adopt. His wording was that they can adopt this, and I'm not sure if this is correct because I'm not an attorney, but he said that they could adopt the city law and apply it to the county. So since the city law is 4,
They could, but they have not adopted it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not targeting you. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a kennel. I'm saying the sheriff is wrong. It's not part of the county animal ordinance
okay,
that you can only have 4.
that's why I was confused because Chapter 90 doesn't say that, and I did bring it up to zoning when it all came about. I did bring it to Dee Dee's attention. I told her it's not written there. I paid all the fees that were necessary or whatever so that the county can get their money. I do have, experience and am willing to help you guys.
Dear Wester called into question part of Miller's claim that she was operating a rescue at her property currently. Whitty interjected and reminded the board they could only consider testimony and evidence presented during the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Regional Planning Commission process.
Part of your statement in here, you stated to the zoning board that you have been running an animal rescue in DeWitt County since 2015.
No, I said that my building has been there
No,
since
word for
2015.
word, you said you had been running a rescue. I'm looking at your transcript.
No, that's
That may not have been what you meant.
that's not what I meant. No, because
But what you said was you had been running it since 2015.
I have been running my hobby breeding stuff since 2015, and I have helped with ferals and getting them spayed and neutered that have been in my yard. But in terms of running a rescue, no, that's incorrect.
The board approved both the condition proposed by Whitty and the application. The issue, since being approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Regional Planning Commission, has been hotly debated on social media. Some are calling into question Miller's history outside of DeWitt County. Whitty indicates none of that was presented to the ZBA or RPC. Therefore, it could not be considered by the board last Thursday.
So, I know there's been some discussion out there in social media. At the end of the day, what we are supposed to be making our decision on is it's based on what's presented at the hearing. It gives anybody the opportunity to weigh in, but then they're subject to cross-examination. So, if you're going to make an allegation about something, then you've got to back that up, and somebody would have an opportunity to cross-examine you. And I think on this particular case, there was nobody who spoke out in opposition.
And Whitty says, like it or not, this is the process the county has in place for these applications. And while some claim they did not know the meetings were taking place, he admits there needs to be better transparency with the community on that. Dear Wester, John Wirtz, and Buck Carter were dissenting votes. Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. A baseball legend passed away yesterday. That story comes up in local sports. White Sox and Cardinals winners yesterday as well. Those stories next in sports.
When it comes to Centuro nitrogen stabilizer, there is a lot of noise. So let's set the record straight. Centuro is an EPA-registered nitrification inhibitor. It's non-corrosive, easy to handle, and powered by pronitridine, a patented active ingredient offering agronomically effective below-ground protection. And it's trusted by growers and retailers alike because it truly makes a difference. Get all the facts and see how Centuro is delivering real results at CenturoWorks.com.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. Baseball Hall of Famer Ryan Sandberg, who became one of baseball's best all-around players while playing second base for the Cubs, has died. He was 65. Sandberg was surrounded by his family when he died at his home Monday, according to the team. Sandberg announced in January 2024 he'd been diagnosed with metastatic prostate cancer. He had chemotherapy and radiation treatments, saying in August 2014 he was cancer-free, but posted on Instagram in December that his cancer had returned and spread to other organs. He announced this month he was still fighting and looking forward to making the most of every day with his loving family and friends. Cubs chairman Tom Ricketts says Sandberg will be remembered as one of the all-time greats in nearly 150 years of the historic franchise. Sandberg was born and raised in Spokane, Washington, selected out of high school by the Phillies in the 20th round of the 78 amateur draft. He made his big league debut in 1981, going 1-for-6 in 13 games with the Phillies. In January of 82, he was traded to the Cubs along with Larry Boa for veteran infielder Ivan DeJesus. It turned into one of the most lopsided deals in baseball history. Sandberg would go on to hit .285 with 282 career homers, 1,061 RBIs, and 344 steals in 15 years with the Cubs. He made 10 All-Star games, winning the Home Run Derby in 1990 and took home 9 Gold Gloves. Sandberg was the MVP in 1984, hitting .314 with 19 homers, 84 RBIs, 32 steals, 19 triples, and scored 114 runs. Chicago won the NL East, and Sandberg hit .368 in the playoffs, but the Cubs were eliminated by the Padres after winning the first 2 games of the National League Championship Series at Wrigley Field. Chicago paid tribute to Sandberg in that game when it unveiled a statue of the infielder outside Wrigley Field on that date in 2004. Sandberg led Chicago to the playoffs in 1989, hitting .290 with 30 homers as the Cubs won the NL East in 1990. He hit .400 in the NLCS, but Chicago lost to San Francisco in 5 games. Sandberg led Chicago back to the playoffs in '89, and he set a career high with an NL best 40 homers in 1990, drove in a career best 100 also in 1990 and 91, but never made it back to the postseason. When he retired after the 97 season, he had hit the most homers as a second baseman in Major League history. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2005, receiving 76.2% of the vote by the Baseball Writers Association of America in his 3rd try on the ballot. The Cubs retired his number 23 jersey that same year. Sandberg also managed in the minors with the Cubs and Phillies before he became the third base coach for the Phillies. He was promoted to interim manager when Charlie Manuel was fired in August of 2013, and he had a 119-159 record when he resigned with the Phillies in the middle of a difficult 2015 season. In a game heard here on WHOW, Colson Montgomery and Luis Robert Jr. homered to help the White Sox beat Christopher Sanchez and the Philadelphia Phillies 6-2 Monday night. Davis Martin pitched 6-hit ball into the 6th inning as Chicago improved to 7-3 since the All-Star break. Lenine Sosa had 3 hits, including a run-scoring single. The last place Sox, that is, needed 2 more wins to match their total from all of last year when they went 41-121 to break the modern Major League record for most losses in a season. Bryce Harper had 2 hits and 2 RBIs for Philly, who dropped to 2-2 on a 6-game road trip. Kyle Schwarber walked 3 times, and Brendan Marsh finished with 2 hits. Sanchez allowed 4 runs and 7 hits in 6 2/3 innings. Since his first loss since 2008, the wiry left-hander went 4-0 with a 1.4 ERA in his previous 7 starts. Sanchez was staked to a 2-0 lead on Harper's 2-run double in the 3rd inning, but Montgomery responded with a 2-run drive in the bottom half of the frame.
There's a swing and a fly ball to right. Sorry, Tony.
Gone.
Call it. Montgomery.
Gone.
A 2-run homer, Colson Montgomery, and we are tied at 2. How about lefty off lefty? Lefty on lefty crime again.
Montgomery's 390-foot drive was the rookie's 4th home run in his last 6 games and the first homer for a lefty batter off Sanchez this season. Robert made it 4-2 with his 11th homer, another 2-run shot that drifted over the wall in right field in the 4th. The center fielder was 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts a day after he was hit by a 101-mile-per-hour fastball in the 9th inning of a 5-4 loss to the Cubs.
2-1. Robert hits a fly ball toward the corner in right. Castellanos is back, and it's gone. 2-run shot, Robert. It's 4-2.
Martin struck out 7 in 5 2/3 innings for his first win since May 14th.
Pitch coming, swing and a miss, strike 3 on a cutter that ended up almost in the dirt. 5 batters in. Martin's got 4 strikeouts. The pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3 on a hard changeup. So Martin with 5 early strikeouts. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Good cutter by Martin. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's 7 strikeouts for Martin. Will Venable is out. He'll make a change. Davis Martin exits with a 4-2 lead.
The Sox tacked on 2 more in the 8th inning on singles by Sosa and Montgomery.
Swinging a hard ground ball, base hit, center field. Vargas will score. Benintendi ends up at third. Lenine Sosa's had a 3-hit night, and he makes it 5-2.
Robert Jr. had a web gem in the 4th inning.
Real Muto lines out toward right center. Diving catch, Luis Robert Jr.
That ball slicing away from him the whole time. I honestly thought there's no way he catches that. Boy, you talk about closing speed once again and a perfect path to that ball. Luis Robert Jr., woo, you know why he's won gold in the past.
Phillies left-hander Jesus Luzardo starts tonight opposite right-hander Jonathan Cannon for the Sox. Hear tonight's action right here on WHOW. Former White Sox Andrew Vaughn, Sal Frelick, and Christian Yelich homered as the Brewers overcame a shaky start from All-Star Jacob Misiorowski and beat the Cubs 8-4 Monday night to take sole possession of first place in the National League Central. After allowing a bloop single and a walk to begin the game, Misiorowski took a line shot off the bat of Saya Suzuki to his left knee. The 23-year-old would strike out Pete Crow Armstrong, but threw a wild pitch in the process, allowing a run to score. Then after a fielding dribbler in front of the mound, Misiorowski threw wildly to first as 2 runners scored. The Brewers stormed back, though, with 4 runs off Matthew Boyd in the 3rd to go up 4-3. Christian Yelich had an RBI double. Isaac Collins added a 2-run single, and Bryce Terang hit a sac fly. Vaughn hit a solo homer in the 5th. Frelick hit another homer in the 6th to give the Brewers a 6-3 lead. After Kyle Tucker's run-scoring single in the 7th cut the margin to 6-4, Yelich hit a 2-run shot to give the Brewers a 4-run cushion. Misiorowski gave up 3 hits and 3 runs in 4 innings. He walked 2 and struck out 7, throwing 11 pitches of 100 or more miles per hour. Trevor McGill got the last out with 2 runners aboard to notch his 24th save in 27 tries. As Nico Horner scored on Tucker's single in the 7th, Michael Busch attempted to take 3rd, but was cut down by Jackson Churrio's throw to 3rd baseman Caleb Durbin. Suzuki struck out to end the inning, stranding Tucker at 3rd. Jackson Churrio went 0 for 3 with 2 walks, ending a career-high hitting streak of 20 games. Tonight, Colin Ray starts for the Cubs opposite Brewers right-hander Quinn Priester. Andre Palante allowed 1 hit in 7 scoreless innings, and the Cardinals beat the Marlins 7-1 Monday night. Palante retired his first 10 batters before walking Jesus Sanchez in the 4th. Graham Pauley singled in the 6th for the Marlins' lone hit against the St. Louis right-hander. Palante struck out 4, walked 1, and threw 49 of 81 pitches for strikes. Alec Burleson hit his 14th homer of the season and second in as many games. He struck out 4 and walked 3. A 411-foot drive to center field for Burleson off a 97-mile-per-hour fastball from Edward Cabrera. Cabrera allowed a pair of runs. 1 was earned on 3 hits in 6 innings. He struck out 4 and walked 3. Steven Matz allowed 1 hit in a scoreless 8th, and Matt Svanson allowed a walk and a pair of hits, including an RBI single by Augustine Ramirez in the ninth. Miami dropped its second straight game after having a 4-game winning streak end on Sunday. Yoel Pozo made it 2-0 in the fourth when he doubled, took third on a wild pitch, and scored when Ramirez's throw sailed past third baseman Pauly. The Cardinals broke it open with a 5-run seventh. Burleson drove in a run by reaching on a bases-loaded catcher's interference. Mason Wynn followed with a 3-run double, and Jordan Walker drove in Wynn with a double. Pauly lined Palante's 94-mile-an-hour fastball into right field to lead off the sixth and end the no-hit bid. Palante had gone 0-3 with a 9.76 ERA in his previous 3 starts, giving up 8 or more hits each time. Marlins send right-hander Sandy Alcantara to the mound opposite Cardinals right-hander Sonny Gray in the as the series continues on Tuesday. The Chicago Bulls and Coach Billy Donovan have agreed to a contract extension. The team announced on Sunday. The team did not reveal the length or the financial terms of the contract. Donovan has a 195 and 205 record with a playoff appearance in 5 seasons as the Bulls head man. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Is the summer heat getting to you? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet